Parashat Mishpatim. Parashat Mishpatim, we're going to concentrate on attitudes. On attitudes. It says in the Torah, Ve'el Moshe Amar, and he said to Moshe, Alel Hashem, you go up to God, Ata ve'Aaron, Nadav ve'Avihu, v'shivim b'ziknei Israel, v'ishtachavetem marchok. You're going to climb, the whole bunch of people go over there and climb, and then you're going to bow down from the distance. V'nigash Moshe levado el Hashem, and God came close by himself Moshe came by himself to God, vehem lo yigashu, and they did not approach, ve'am lo ya'alu imo, and the people did not ascend up to the mountain with him. Vayovem Moshe ve'yisaper la'am et kol divrei Hashem, and then Moshe came about to the people and told them exactly what Hashem told them, kol mishpatim, all the laws, ve'yan kol ha'am kol echad, right? And the whole entire nation said in one voice, kol advarim asher diber Hashem na'aseh. ויכתוב משה את כל דברי העם, and he wrote all those things, וישכם בבוקר, and he got up in the morning, and he built an altar under the mountain, and 12 מצבה ל-12 שבטי ישראל, there was a monument for the 12 tribes, וישלח את נערי בני ישראל, ויעלו עולות אזרחים, and they brought offerings, and so on and so forth. Now, and he tells us what they were doing, and so on and so forth. Now, and then it says, "Vayikach Moshe et Adam vayizrok el ha'am," and he took the blood and he threw on the nation. Vayomer, "Hinei dam habrit asher karat Hashem imachem," el kol, and so on and so forth. Kol advarim ha'elu. I don't know everything we said. On that, Rashi says on all these words, "Kol divrei v'kol mishpatim," and the person says, "Kol Hashem diber Hashem naaseh." Rashi says that these were Sheva mitzvot bnei Noach, plus Shabbat, plus Kibud Avaim that was given to them in Mara. And that's what Rashi says. So of course the question has to be asked, why does he need to repeat the mitzvot, the commandments, and which they were giving to Bnei Noach before Matan Torah, the 7 mitzvot, the 7 Noachite mitzvot? Why did he have to repeat them? Says the Rav Maor Vashemesh, his name was?
Kalman.
Rav Klonimus Kalman Epstein. Right? It says, "V'nira lefaresh hakol lefi pshuto." It says by the simplicity of the thing, that's how we have to put it down. Dehine kol sheva mitzvot bnei Noach v'gam Shabbat v'kibud avaim, all the 7 Noachite mitzvot, and respecting one parent and keeping Shabbat, right? And all these laws and so on, the dinim and so on, mitzvot nimusiyot she'asechel mechayev otam. These are commandments or laws which are common sense to keep. V'gam hem chukei medina, and these are also the laws of the land. Asher I efshar liyot kiyum olam biladam. Without them, you can't sustain the world. You can't have a society without those basic 7 laws or whatever laws that you have. V'zeh yadua, and it's known she'anachnu am Yisrael, we are, the nation of Israel, are obligated to fulfill all the mitzvot of the Holy Torah, even if it's logical or not logical, we understand or we don't understand them, to be mekayem retzon konenu, to do what God asks us to do. Velo yeshum chiluk beinenu, among us, there should not be any difference between mitzvot sichliyot and mitzvot shmaiyot, something that you understand, that makes sense to you, or some things that it doesn't make sense to you, but you still have to do. There's no difference. רק הכל צריכים אנחנו לקיים מחמת שציוונו הכל מהבורא יתברך שמו. We have to do them without any difference. Why? Because it's a mitzvah that God said. By the way, that extends further when we say if there is a mitzvah that comes upon you, don't miss the opportunity to do this mitzvah. Now you could say, for example, I don't know, whatever mitzvah is I'm doing right now, this mitzvah is higher. You don't know what's a better mitzvah. Any mitzvah that comes to your head, you're in the middle of doing that, you're doing it. You don't have to worry about, this mitzvah is more important, that mitzvah is less important. Every mitzvah for you is equal. Of course, besides what we know. What we know is the highest mitzvah of all, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. That's above all. Go tell me, Talmud Torah gadol mikibud avaim? Yes, I'm going to tell you that. Huh? Derech Eretz. It's not a It's not. It's derech eretz. You know what that refers to derech eretz? Yeah, eating and drinking. That's derech eretz, and other things that we're not going to get into right now. It has to go with drugs and rock and roll, some other stuff. I can't remember. Now, motorcycles. Now, it says velo michamat nimusiyot, not because we need this. It's a law that makes that's for society. No, we're doing the mitzvot. We have to do the mitzvot. We have to do the mitzvot. And it says v'zehu nachat ruach lefanav, and that is what makes HaKadosh Baruch Hu so-called happy with us. That we don't care if this mitzvah makes sense to us or doesn't make sense to us. We do it. Why? Because He said for us to do. So that's what we do. That makes HaKadosh Baruch Hu very happy. That you have to understand. It's a very important point. And now it says, that רק מחמת הציבוי נתברך שמו והוא נחת רוח לפניו. That's what God makes him happy. That gives him, נחת רוח. שאמר ונעשה רצונו. Because he says we're going to do whatever Hashem wants us to do. That's what we're doing. That's his רצון Hashem. על כן, therefore he says, הוכח משה רבנו עליו השלום להחזיר לבני ישראל קודם מתן תורה של המצוות. This is why Moshe Rabbeinu had to remind the Jews about the 7 Noachite mitzvot and Kibud Avayim and Shabbat. I don't understand that. What is it? What does it have to do with anything? I mean, we already have it. Why do you have to tell me this again? Why do you have to tell me this again? If Am Yisrael was commanded only to do the mitzvot, only, mitzvot that make sense and so on and so forth, that's one thing. But here, since we are commanded to do all the mitzvot, because Hashem told us to do so, I guess it is something that needs to be looked upon. What do I mean? We need to ask, is there a difference if a person does the mitzvah because Hashem commanded him to do the mitzvah, or because it makes sense? It's good for the society, it's good for the community. Is there, the bottom line is, I did the mitzvah. I did the mitzvah. What difference does it make to you? Does it make a difference to you, or it should, not to you, should it make a difference if I do the mitzvah because, I don't know, God told me to do it? I don't know, it says in the Torah. In other words, I'm going to tell you what's the problem with that. God told me to do it, I'm doing it. Or because you want to merit a place in heaven, or you're afraid of going to hell. The bottom line, I did the mitzvah. What difference does it make to you? In other words, what is that your business? I did the mitzvah. But apparently it does. Apparently it does. The same thing as some people say, I'm learning Torah on Shabbat because I get double the reward. It's kind of stupid. That's good if you're like giving a lecture and you have nothing else to say. That's something you would say. But that's why you learn the Torah. So if you get nothing, and which I told you this, I asked you this 1,000,000 times. If all of a sudden you hear a heavenly voice coming to you, says to you, little darling, I am God speaking to you, the God of your father, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, and I'm telling you right now, at this moment, from this point on, En Olam Haba, no heaven below us, no above us only sky, nothing, no heaven, no nothing. Imagine that. Yeah, it's very easy. Just throw things away. Would you keep your mitzvot? You want to eat pig? Eat pig. You want to eat, whatever you want to eat. Cheeseburger, don't worry about it. There's no punishment. I'm not saying to you should, but there's no punishment. Would you keep halachot kashrut? Would you still keep Chalav Israel? Not Chalav Ta'ava. Chalav Israel. Would you keep? Would you keep Shabbat? Would you keep Shabbat? Would you keep chametz? Would you eat chametz in Pesach? Would you? The answer would determine where you're standing in your Avodat Hashem. Or where are you holding right now in your relations to God? And it's a very tough question that most people don't want to answer. I'm going to tell you this. I know for sure I will. So I don't know any other way that is better than living the way I'm living. Besides the fact that it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah that there is hell. It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah there is heaven. The only thing it says in the Torah, do so because God told you to do so. But would you? And that's a question that basically what we have here in this parasha. That's the point that we're trying to address. In other words, what the Ma'or Hashem is called mitzvah nimusit, which is good manners to do and so on and so forth. A person does it every day equally in order to maintain the world. In other words, it says, it's good that we'll be friends. So that's kiyum ha'olam. That's for the world. It says, recycle, I recycle. It does this, I do this. That's shum kiyum ha'olam. But if you do this mitzvah because HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks you to do it, every single day you're going to do the same mitzvah in a different manner. And why is that? That every single day you're supposed to, by doing the mitzvot, understand that mitzvot here allow you to elevate yourself. And through your doing the mitzvot, you feel closer to Hashem. Every day you're going to do the same mitzvah in a different way because you feel closer to Hashem in your life. Most people who go off the derech, that stop being observant, it's because they felt somewhere along the line that they're either doing a favor to someone, including God, but them keeping the mitzvot, or they were afraid of this consequence or another, and once they finally ate their cheeseburger, they were expecting this lightning bolt to come and strike them, and nothing really happened. Today, okay, yalla, bring on the night, bring on the cheeseburgers, nothing is going to happen, it's all nonsense, baloney. And then they will come to you and going to tell you, you are brainwashed. Judaism is a cult. Halacha is a cult. Because they're not able to commit themselves to something unless they're going to get something to it. It's almost like Ayn Rand with a rational movement, right? Let's say, for example, you have a flat tire. You want me to help you? Good, pay me. I'm going to do it for you for free. You want me to do something for you? Pay for it. Be rational, I'm not going to do something. Let it make sense to me. No such thing as helping one another. No such thing as responsibility for one another. That's the way it is. That's how people do it. And so most people that get off the derech is because of that. And then they will tell you are the brainwashed. Meanwhile, they are the one who brainwashed themselves. So when a person does the mitzvah according to his sechel, his intellect, and he does it, right? So it becomes like just routine to him. It's like brushing your teeth. Do you feel like a special spiritual elevation when you're brushing your teeth? No. But let's say on the day that you get married, you're going to take very close attention. You're going to put your, aftershave. If you're getting married, you should have a beard. But never mind. You're going to put some cologne. You're going to wash yourself. You're going to wash under your nail. The act of cleaning yourself will become, purposeful. And you see, I'm not using the word mindful. I'm using purposeful.
On the next morning when you come, black.
I'm not so thrilled about mindfulness lately, or whatever it is. Yeah, maybe you know.
That's the same. To take it out, you're showing.
But when there is a purpose, I understand what I'm doing. When I'm cleaning my house for Pesach, it's never a burden for me.
That's also fine.
It's. I feel closeness to Hashem, that I'm willing to give up on my selfishness, to get on my knees, whether they hurt or they don't hurt, to scrub it until my fingers fall. And if I guarantee one time, and believe me, I have plenty of battle scars from cleaning for Pesach, from all kind of chemicals that basically ate my skin. Very proud of it. The fact that they were hurting that Pesach, I was very happy. I said, finally, I feel like I clean good. This is good. Das is good. I feel good, cleaning. If I come to Pesach not tired, I would feel guilty, like I didn't do anything. To keep Shabbat is a burden. I don't understand what's wrong with you guys. To go on vacation, what do you do on vacation? You run away from everything. Here you got it every day, for free, every Shabbat you get for free. There's nothing like Shabbat. So Shabbat is a burden? Something is wrong with our outlook. We don't look at things appropriately. However, if I know that every day I do so and I increase my ahava, my first of all love to Hashem, my understanding to why I'm doing the mitzvot, I'm having awe for the greatness of God and what He created there. The mitzvah that I'll do with great itlahavut. That's why, you could tell, you say, oh, how does the rabbi know that this and this? You could tell a person with his attitude, how he's learning and how he come to learn, how close does he hold to Hashem and what's his relationship to Hashem. The rabbi does not have superpowers. Nobody has superpowers. Nobody can see into your mind. It's just, it's a mirror. You look at yourself. I mean, you see how the guy is like this, coming to learn, he's like this. Right? His head is not into learning that day. That day he's far away from Hashem. But a guy who comes in and is breaking a sweat learning, you can't fake that. You can't fake it. There are other fields in your life that you can fake, but not here.
Then why is it the Tzilit have more to go?
Eat your children. By the way, how's the children? Dan and Shmaya took care of the whole thing.
And Yosef.
And Yosef. Yes, Yosef also helped with the potato peeling. Yes, Yosef. Very good. It's the Holy Trinity here. Huh? Very good, right? Most Sephardi children so far. Very good. Shmoo, eat some. It's good. Just a bite for the neshama. Now, that's why he went back and told them again the Sheva Mitzvot B'nei Noach. Why? In order for them to understand and to know that they haven't done any mitzvah yet for the sake of the honor of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah, you kept Sheva Mitzvot B'nei Noach. Yes, you kept Shabbat. Yes, you kept Kibbud Av V'Shalom. But you didn't do so for the Kvod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You did it for yourself. You did it for that it makes sense to you, but you didn't do it for the honor of God. You didn't do it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu told you to do so full-heartedly. God told me that, I'm doing that. Right? And therefore, they had to re-accept upon themselves the Sheva Mitzvot B'nei Noach because they need to accept themselves on a different level. They are now HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me to do so. So it's not because that it's going to make me a good society, but rather because God told me to do it. And that's why I'm keeping that. Why am I keeping Shabbat? Because God told me to keep Shabbat. Why I'm doing Kibbud Av V'Shalom? Because that's what the Torah told me to do. Not that it makes sense. So what happened if a guy, his father is a big mafiosi, Faccia bruta, he's a mafia guy. So why? He's not supposed to respect his dad. He's still his dad. But it doesn't make sense. The guy went to Harvard, the father is a mobster. He's still your dad. Society, your father is a leech, right? But no, he's your dad. Why? Because the Torah told you that. Yes, even if your father is Mechalel Shabbat, you should respect your father. Yes, your father is Mechalel Shabbat, you should respect your father. You should not despise him. You don't have to do whatever he tells you to do. It's like when your father tells you, listen, Bambini over there, give me one of my, give me a name of a Cuban cigar. Monte Carlo, right? Monte Cristo. Give me some Monte Cristo over there, light it for me, and then bring it over to me on Shabbat. Say, Dad, with all due respect, go jump. I can't do that, It's Shabbat. But your father is Mechalel Shabbat, you have to respect him. He has a free choice of how he's going to live his life. And it's none of your business to interfere with his decisions. You should feel sad. You really care. Pray to God that opens your father's heart to be able to come back to the arms of Hashem, to the Klal Yisrael. But to disgrace your dad, you're not allowed to. By the laws of the Torah, the same Torah that you're so concerned about, is the same Torah that tells you got to respect your dad because that's your job. Why? Because why? Because he's your father? Because that's society? No, it's because Hashem told you to do it. And that's, I'm going to tell you that I know I'm going to get a lot of heat from a lot of people about this. But guess what? I don't care. What needs to be said is going to be said. And that's the truth. He has a free choice if he decides to drive on Shabbat or he decides to go to, I don't know, bada bing, bada bang. He decides to go somewhere. That's his choice. He didn't ask you what should he do. You got to respect his free choice. But he's your dad, you got to respect him.
All objects that they consider
and so is everybody else.
According to the original lacha, we are allowed to throw them to the garbage, but we're not doing it.
Because that is the honor for Hashem. You do so because the Torah told me to do so. So there's no questions. And don't listen to these people that tell you, you guys are brainwashed, you are cold, you are this. A person that tells you that right away, you know that he's not healthy anyway. He's looking for excuse why he's out. He never got close to Hashem. He did it, all these things that he did is because of different motive. He had some ulterior motives to it.
Here, listen.
You can do it because it needs to be done.
It says in the halacha.
Imagine what will happen if somebody tells you you have to stop learning. Oh, you shouldn't be learning. We said that this is keneged kulam. That's Talmud Torah. It's what brings you the closest to Hashem. And there are people who really sacrifice their life to come to learn. Now, whether they come to learn 8 hours a day or they come to learn 1 hour a day, but it's hard for them. They're coming to learn. Who is in the right mind to tell me not to learn? These are the words by me coming to learn. There's nothing greater than that, than doing Hashem's will. And it hasn't been yet the person in the world that would tell you not to go and you should listen to, not to go to learn and you should listen to him. Now, I don't care if you're never going to get married, because let's say all the women will tell you don't go to learn, but if you don't get married, then you get married and Chaz v'Shalom, somebody tells you stop learning Torah. You have to learn. How are you going to build your house? And what's the foundation? What's going to be imagine laying a floor without tin set. How is it going to stay? It's going to break. You ever try to put sheetrock on the wall without screws? It's going to fall. That's the whole thing's together. So now, and because of that chazara, Bnei Israel should understand what is the difference between doing the mitzvot that they were expected to do because of that, and then doing the mitzvot because even the mitzvot we don't understand, and the greater mitzvah that we don't understand is para aduma. What's the reason for that? I don't know what's the reason for that. I don't care. People try to find what's the reason. I tell you, I used to do this also. I find the reason for this mitzvah, that mitzvah, and then I realize that I'm actually doing something wrong. It's not that I'm not interested in if the Torah tells me. It's not the Torah tells me. But I want to reach a level that I'll do the mitzvah without knowing that. Why? Because it needs to be done. That's why I'm doing it. And that's why the Maor. That's how you do the kiyum. Now the Maor Hashemesh writes, and that's what the people says. Kol advarim asher diber Hashem naaseh, and then writing the Torah and reading it as the act of the covenant, which was brought in the verses right after that. After this says, we'll do it. No questions, we'll do it. It's okay. You don't have to tell us. Only then write it down and do it like this, because so in other words, the words of the Torah, Rabotai, I have something important to tell you. The words of the Torah are not words. The words of the Torah are actually the words of the contract, the covenant in which we made with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And so you're going to tell me, the best thing is just to know, okay, we agree, and so on and so forth. Now, every time we learn and we write more books, and even if you don't write books, even if you write on your notebooks what we learn in Shiur and so on and so forth, every word that you learn, you in a way adding on to the Torah. Any stringency in which you take upon yourself, stringency, not stringency, right? That you take upon yourself, you might say, you're adding more. You should add less. But in the world of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is different. Every stuff that you take more upon yourself is another act of love. So when you are writing Divrei Torah, when you're learning Torah, and you're taking more upon yourself, okay, this time I'm going to start keeping Pat Israel, and then I'm going to keep Chalav Israel, everybody knows, right? Keep Yeshan, and then I'm going to keep Shabbat, 45 minutes after Shkia, not 25 minutes after Shkia, then it's already Shabbat. I don't care what people say. I'm going to do it more, not because I have to, because I want to. That's basically an expression of love towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The reward that you get is not necessarily another zero in your bank account. Because we don't know how much we were supposed to get and what we're supposed to be. And it could be that the way we live our life right now, Baruch Hashem, we're healthy and we're happy and we have some wealth, it's only because of what we do. Look at this way. So that's what we need to say. They did not understand the way to do the mitzvot. They did not have the proper attitude of doing the mitzvot, and therefore they couldn't do it right. When you have the wrong attitude to do a mitzvah, you cannot do the mitzvah right. If I am working, for example, I work for Yonatan, right? I'm his worker. And I think that I do him a favor by working for him. My attitude is never going to be, let me do extra. My attitude is going to be, listen, I do enough for him. I come every day on time. I leave every day on time. You should say thank you. I don't steal from him. That's the attitude, right? I'm going to do my job. Rather than to say, one second. Go to the local Home Depot now with all the illegal. I don't understand. Why do they call them migrants? Why don't they call them illegal aliens? Huh? Woke. Okay, I'm very woke. I'm woke since 6 o'clock in the morning today. Right? Go to Home Depot. There's the half of the United Nations is over there, like half of Africa, or whatever else is there. It's like, well, you can take somebody else for a quarter of the price than I am. So I should be grateful for him giving me an opportunity to work, and not only that, he pays me on time. So let me do a little bit extra. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a bigger boss. I mean, with all due respect to Yonatan, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a much better boss. So I should not have the hakarat atov, the gratitude for Hashem, for what He's given me and what He allows me to do, the koach, the abilities to function and to do, and I'm still doing Him a favor? I have the attitude that I'm doing God a favor and doing the mitzvot? The mitzvah chas v'sholom is a burden on me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong? Something is wrong with this picture. That's why they need to receive it again. Not only the 10 Commandments, before the 10 Commandments, they need to get the Sheva Mitzvot Ben Enoch to accept it upon themselves. Because you haven't done it right. So when you have the wrong attitude, you are not doing the mitzvah right. It's not just the technicality. Unfortunately, in Judaism today, we got very stuck on the technicality of things. But the attitude is not there. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm sorry to tell you this. The attitude sucks. We have a stinking attitude. We don't understand the gift of life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us. The gift of the Torah. And why are you willing to compromise on Torah? If the boss comes to you tomorrow and tells you, listen, due to the circumstances, we're going to cut salaries in 50%. Say, goodbye and good luck, I'm out of here. Why would you be willing to consider somebody's going to tell you, compromise on learning Torah, instead of coming to learn 4 hours a day, come once a week? Why are you willing to compromise? And then you're going to tell me that you believe in Hashem? I don't believe you. And it's not because of anything, because your actions show that. Your actions show it. Now, in order to understand, right? And since Bnei Israel understood that this is not just like to form a society, it's a commandment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So they wanted to hear the whole entire thing. And then it says, Na'aseh v'nishma. First of all, we do it, then we shma. We want to hear what God. We like to hear God tells us, do this and do that and do this, do that. Because it shows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu appreciates me and understands appreciate my abilities to do more. So when your boss tells you, gives you work to do, you should be happy. Why? Because he trusts me to do the job. You should be very complimented that he give you the job. Let's say your boss tells you, listen, I'm going to go on vacation next week. I want you to run the place with. You say, oh, 1 second, am I getting anything extra for this? No, good job. Not doing anything. What do you mean? I'm going to do more work. You're not going to pay me? You fool. He's going to make you a manager. You don't understand that. No, I'm doing him a favor. Without me, the place goes down. Okay, goodbye. You say, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do a better job than when he's here. That should be the attitude. The same thing regarding the mitzvot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, let's see, now I'm going on vacation, guys. I'm going on vacation, 2,000 years I'm going on vacation. Let's see now how you do it. I'm not going to give you miracles. We're not going to have all this 10 miracles, daily miracles, constant miracles you had in Bet HaMikdash. I'm not going to give you that. Let's see how you guys do it. Let's see. I'll make you managers now. You're on your own. Let's see how you do it. How you run the place. You're going to run it to the ground, or you're going to do it better because I'm not here. Let's see. Meanwhile, the boss has a little camera. He sees everything you do. Why are you holding in the picture?
I'm not going to go crazy.
Where's your attitude?
Give me 2 pieces of note.
Are you doing a favor to Hashem to come daven in shul?
1 piece of paper.
When you count Shabbat, are you one of the first 10 people? First 20 people? Or you are the first one in Kiddush? Right? Why? Because you just came to Kiddush. Where are you holding? We need to understand that the level of what is called Mishpat, of judicial system in Israel, is completely different. The Din Torah and the Emunat Israel, Chadhu, it's one thing. Because while the dinim, the laws and the judicial system of the nations of the world are logical, they make sense, There's a red light, you got to stop, and so on and so forth, right? In Am Israel, in other words, when they were written, they were written with an intellectual agreement of the people who wrote them. Everybody was agreeing. That was the Constitution, and so on and so forth, right? However, Jewish belief is that the laws of the Torah were all given in Har Sinai, and they were all written in the Torah, and that is what we call the body of the Torah. And even more than that, every din that was set in a Beit Din Torani, like in a Beit Din, by the laws of the Torah, becomes a part of the Torah. So much that they say that every din, every dayan, every judge, that dan din emet, the judges according to the laws of the Torah, without being persuaded to this side or to the other side, na'asa shutaf lakadosh baruch hu b'maaseh bereshit. It says in Masechet Shabbat, you become a partner with God in creation of the world. It's a high level that we need to understand what it is. It says in the Gemara, shlosha sheyoshvim bebeit din, right? Where it's a Masechet Brachot. 3 people that sit in Beit in din, Shechina shora benehem. The Shechina comes around you. So in this earthy, negotiation in terms of our mindset we can make a mistake. We can make a mistake. We can be mistaken in interpreting the din. We can make a mistake. However, when we are dealing in Mishpatei Hashem, the laws of Hashem, it has to be absolutely the truth. Emet la'amitah, the truth, absolute the truth. In other words, from Aleph to Taf, with the stuff in the middle, it has to be all balanced. It has to be the same thing. Emet, Aleph, Mem, Taf. Aleph, the first letter, Mem, the middle letter, Taf, the letter. It has to be all truthful. You can't say a little bit of a lie. So the Shekhinah comes and agrees with their Psak Halacha, with their definition of the law. As we see, for example, when they had Rosh Chodesh, when they says the times of Rosh Chodesh, right? It says, Ele Moadei Hashem, Mikrei Kodesh. These are the laws of the holidays of Hashem, are holy holidays of Hashem, Asher Tikreu Otam B'Moadam, which are going to be determined according to what you say. According to Beit Din, when it's going to be Rosh Chodesh, it all depends on what the Jewish court will say. And then it says, that's the din, that's the law. And that's the edut of the 2 people that come. Now, if there was a mistake regarding the exact date, right? Mishamayim, they would agree with them, and that would become Ratzon Hashem. Jewish law, halachic law, comparing the regular courts, especially in Israel, is the Jewish law understands that when a person acts, and as a result of this action, he harmed society, is because of lack of imbalance inside of him. There's some kind of an imbalance inside of him. That's why the job of Beit Din, of the Jewish court, according to the Torah, is to decide on the appropriate actions that needs to be take place in order to balance his neshama, to balance his soul again, according to what he had done, and so on and so forth. This is what you need to do to bring yourself back into a balance. In a way, that's the difference between let's say, lehavdil, between Western medicine and Oriental medicine. Then in Oriental medicine, the whole effort is to maintain the balance, and if the body is unbalanced, including mental issues, is to bring the body back into a state of equilibrium, of balance. Where Western medication is all about maintaining the symptoms, but not bringing back to the state that you were before. Lehavdil, to make differentiation, the same thing with Jewish law. Jewish law understands that a person has his imbalance. That's why they're going to give him the punishments of which he needs to do to balance his neshama again. And that's why the level of tshuva is the biggest level of balance, because a person understands he brought himself to this, back to the state of equilibrium. Now, the 10 commandments and the laws which are brought in Parashat Mishpatim, the greatness is beyond the conception of that the laws of the Torah are social laws, to the level that are spiritual universal laws, that the purpose of them is to connect us to the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. And therefore when we hurt our people around us, or we hurt animals or anything that will be, we ourselves are getting joined back from the light of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, from the abundance that come. Whether we steal and we cheat and we rob, or we, whatever you want. Anything that it says there. Even when you hurt an animal, you are preventing yourself from being able to receive the goodness of Hashem. And we need to understand that. And by doing so, you connect yourself to more pain and more suffering and so on and so forth. Because you cause it to other people, it will boomerang back to you. Life is a boomerang. One day you give it, one day you get it. Whatever you put in, that's what you get out. You'll be nice with people, people will be nice to you. You have a choice, regardless of what people do to you. Some people could be, you could go to them, they'll be nasty to you. But as I said to you before, that's their choice. It doesn't mean you have to go into that level, because then you got hooked. Let him go. He wants to be a nasty guy. Let him go. He wants to speak Lashon Hara about you. Let him go. His choice. I don't have to fall into that. Don't think that if you become this kind of a person, you're going to be immune. You know, I got everything. You're not going to be immune. He's going to come back and he's going to bounce back at you exactly when you expected the least. And that's what we need to understand. We need to understand. And that is a whole matter of the emunah, of your attitude. The world operates on balance. You cause pain, you're going to feel it in order to balance things out. You give, you'll get back in return. Shlach lachmecha al penei hamayim, ki berov hayamim timtzeenu. Throw your bread over the water, because one day it's going to come back to you. It might not come back to you as bread, but you might be getting fish. Now, and we see that throughout the generations, our awareness of din, yesh veyesh dayan, really kind of saturate and it really influences more and more, till we start to feel more and more the real thing. I mean, issues of responsibility. For example, environment. We need to understand, if we pollute the earth, it's going to come back to haunt us. We're not going to be able to eat and breathe. If not us, our children. So we need to be responsible. The same thing also regarding the way we treat people. right? Suffering, to cause suffering to other people, it's not the Jewish way. However, if you cause suffering to me, you should know that now, but to go and just like what they did in October 7th, those Arabs, that's gonna come back them. That's a boomerang. We're coming to your face. Don't come and crying to me. You're cooking to yourself. You pulled it, snapped it back into your face. Now, what can I do? You stepped on the rake. It goes back into your face. But the way of Jewish way is different. It's to always to give and to be nice and to connect. And we understand that the more we connect, the more we'll be able to connect ourselves and surround ourselves with people who are going to be positive people. That's why you gotta tell me, listen, Rabbi, you're a broken record. I am sick and tired of people who are negative or tell me all the time bad news and bad things and always negative and this one is bad and this one. I want only good news and good people around me. The more you surround yourself with positive people, the more positive you would be. The influence of society around you is greater than your influence on society. That's why you need to have positive people. You need to have spiritual people around you. People around you, they're going to actually demand from you also an account. You need to be accountable. Accountability is very important to what we do. So for example, argument's sake, let's say, Zalman is late. Right? Zalman, you're late. Be accountable. We're waiting for you. Right? We're waiting outside for 10 minutes. Where were you? Accountability. The more we'll do so, the better we'll be able to live our lives all together. And it's going to be much easier for us to go and to live much more fulfilled life. So therefore it starts, Rabotai, with the attitude of the things that you do in front of you, the little things, as mitzvot and so on and so forth, which includes baracha, charona. It's not a burden. Birkat Hamazon, it's not a burden. You should look forward and running forward to do this mitzvot and properly attitude, because what we fail, or the beginning of the failure of all of us, is with our attitude. Since attitude will determine the way we're going to do things, that's what we need to fix it immediately. Shabbat Shalom and Rosh Chodesh Tov.